we're back
Hey.
with another episode of It's the End of the World Unless. My name's Tiana, T for short. I'm here with my nigga.
And he never Skxnni, the one and only.
Hello. What we talking about today?
We talking about niggas, man. We talking about in particular famous niggas.
Rich niggas, yeah.
Rich niggas. And just I don't know. It's a lot of shit that's been going on. Just in the media and shit. A particular man by the name of Mr. West. Has been saying a lot of things. And it's I guess the bigger topic around the things that he's been saying is how it seems like black celebrityism is very um a very prominent problem in our community.
Yeah. Let's start with like the idolization to
Mhm.
begin with. How motherfuckers put these people on pedestals just because of like whatever they put forth into the world. Like
Right,
if you forget these are whole ass humans, bruh, that are
right,
just like me and you with shit that we're dealing with every day. But now on with them being, in this limelight and having so much more access to shit, it's probably even more severe for them, like they just get exposed to a whole new level of shit on top of the shit they was already dealing with. So
right.
stop. We need to cut the idolization out, bro. It sets us up for failure every time.
Mhm.
Kill all your idols. Like
A hundred percent.
that shit is not productive, bro.
100%. And I don't think there's anything wrong with like finding inspiration in other people.
Yeah, or even
Because,
admiring people, right?
yeah, because we're supposed to, in a certain way. Um,
Yeah,
but I also think there's a fine line between admiration and like idolization, like you said.
yeah.
And I think where that line is that a lot of people look at their favorite celebrities, i.e., Nicki Minaj,
Oh
and
Lord.
how
Oh
they
Lord.
and,
Oh, I forgot all about the. Oh
um,
child.
and don't really hold her accountable for anything she does, anything she says. It's kind of just like as long as she has her loyal fans behind her, like she's able to just kind of.
But she's mother, like, bruh.
But yeah, and it's just that I think that culture comes from a bunch of people who lack real role models, um,
Mm.
and real like
Real life connections, I
yeah,
think too. Yeah.
yeah. A lot of people I feel like cling to these celebrities because sometimes that is a form of like fellowship. You know what I'm saying? Like when you meet somebody else who stands the way you stand, it becomes kind of like a personality or like kind of like a way to find your tribe, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
And that reminds me of what we said about religion too, how people are just like looking for something to take on as their identity because they don't know what to do outside of that.
yeah, and I honestly think that celebrityism and religion tie very close together.
Celebrity is I didn't even know that was a word. Is it celebritism? Celebrity.
I say celebrityism.
All right, let's go with that. Celebrityism probably is some form of like religion, to be honest. If you
Hmm.
like actually boil the definition of religion down and the foundation of a religion, it's probably
Hmm.
like the same, very similar shit.
Yeah, because I feel like people look for the same things they look for in a religion from these
Yeah, that's
artists,
what I'm saying.
as far as like recognition and looking at them like they're perfect and they want to look more like them, they want to talk like
Mm-hmm.
them, just
So
trying
weird.
to find themselves within this person. And I
So
think it's
weird.
it's very similar to how people try to find themselves in God. Um,
Bruh. Motherfuckers been idolizing Kim Kardashian for years. Look where the fuck that got us.
right, right. And it's like, what are we even idolizing? Like, what is her
Bruh.
talent? Like, what is she?
Bruh.
It's like we've come to a point. I feel like because of the internet and social media, where it's like you don't have to try hard to be a celebrity. Like you don't. It doesn't really take like
Literally.
I feel like we've put celebrities on such a pedestal,
Yeah.
but at the same time, because of like the algorithms and TikTok and Instagram, it's like you can really become a celebrity like overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
Mm-hmm.
like that's what everybody's shooting for now. Like everybody's trying to be the next,
Quick rise to fame.
yeah, 15 minutes
Yeah.
of fame. And it's like I seen a fucking video of that girl, the period eye girl.
Oh
Was like,
Lord, she's still around. I haven't seen
yeah,
her on my
apparently
timeline in a
she's
while.
like
Actually.
out, and it was like a bunch of people pressed to see her. Like it was like a bunch of people like around, and she like walked out of some building, and everybody was like taking pictures and like, and I'm just like, when did she become a celebrity? Like when did we like?
As soon as that video kept getting passed, bruh, Chloe Bailey fucking made a parody. Like everybody that was big pretty much made a parody of that shit. And I'm
Mhm.
like, y'all might be making fun of the girl, but like, bruh,
She
she's
winning though.
actually gaining a fan. Yes, she's gaining a fan base.
Yeah,
Like, what don't you get? I don't
right.
get it.
And then it's like it counts to the countless talented artists and people who really have these gifts and abilities who get overlooked
Who put in the work? Yes.
yeah, who really put the work into to hone their skills and shit and don't get recognized usually until like they dead or like they old as shit. Meanwhile, it's like we standing for some girl because she can halfway rap or whatever the fuck, whoever it is, like whatever
Mm.
person it is, or some dude because he can halfway rap or halfway sing or he do pranks on Instagram or some shit. It's just like I don't know. It just feels like there's no um basis
Mm-hmm.
on like who becomes quote unquote famous or who becomes
J. Cole predicted that shit when he made that rap about what's that little dude's name? Was it Lil Pump?
oh yeah, Lil Pump.
Yes, bro. I saw a video surface on Twitter of like a recent interview of him with somebody, I don't know. And they were like, "Do you feel like J. Cole predicted your career, like where you're at now?" And that nigga was so like he was basically just dancing around the question. But
Hmm.
like, I know you sick, my nigga. He just
Hmm.
kept responding like, "But I'm still here. I'm still."
Hmm.
I'm like, bruh, to who?
Right, because ain't nobody listening to
Who?
Lil Pump in 2022.
My nigga, if you go on a tour right now, you're playing at like small local venues.
Right, right, and
Well,
that's
I'm not
that's the
saying
thing
that's
though.
bad, because it's a lot of artists I like that play the smaller. I prefer that actually, but for you to go from up there to down there is kind
Yeah,
of embarrassing. That quickly is kind of embarrassing.
but I think the thing is, a lot of these, at least as far as the rap game goes, I don't think a lot of these dudes are looking for like longevity.
For
I think
sure.
I
For
think it's
sure.
just in the moment, like I made a hot song and now I gotta, because even if you look at somebody like a Lil Pump, I don't even think he wanted like what he think he wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like to blow
Yeah.
off the song that he blew up off of and then have to like keep that momentum going. Like I don't think a lot of people really talk about when we talk about like artists falling off. I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of people think about the fact that some artists aren't ready to blow up. Like some artists blow up before they're actually like in that space where they're ready to, and then
Yeah.
it seems like they fell off. Like Drum. I don't know if you know Drum.
Shelly?
The one that made
Shelly? Shelly? Is that Shelly?
no
Oh.
Drum. The one
Who's
that made
Shelly? Who's
Broccoli.
Shelly? I think he changed his name to Shelly.
Well, he might have. I
Oh,
don't know.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
But
Continue.
anyway, so he came out. I saw an interview with him, and he was saying how like when Broccoli had dropped, everybody was expecting him to make more songs like that, but
Hmm.
he wanted to make like soulful, like R&B type shit. So a
Yeah.
lot of people looked at it like, oh, he fell off, but in reality, it was like he never wanted to be on with that type of
Like that. Yeah.
song. Yeah, like he wanted to be on his type of shit, which I
Yeah.
can respect. And I feel like a lot of artists are like that, where you put a song out and you don't expect it to blow up, and then it does, and now everybody's expecting you to be that artist all the time. And
Hmm.
then when you don't give that because that's not really your shit, you was just experimenting. Then it's like, oh, he fell off, he da 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 da. But I think that goes back to people setting these expectations for artists to be what they think they are, what they want them to be, instead of allowing people to evolve
True.
and be who they are.
True. But I think it also plays into not kind of going all the way down that road that you just went, like very valid. But I think it also like it plays into capitalism because
Yeah.
people are just so eager to like chase the bag, get this
Hmm.
money that they're not thinking about what happens after you get it.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing all of this for?
Yeah.
If you're solely doing it for money, or that's like the major motivating factor, that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
That's not going to be productive for you
Yeah.
long term,
And
you
you
know?
see that, and you see that within the music. Like
Yeah.
artists don't even, I think Beyonce said like artists don't even put out like real projects. It's just like
Yes.
mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
Yes.
a bunch of songs put together. Like I remember a time where when you put an album together, it was like you had a intro, you had like a skit, you had
Yeah.
like a storyline.
Bro, that's why I really fuck with Smino and his new album. That you could tell how well and like how intentionally he put that shit together.
Mhm.
And also like the rollout for it. It wasn't
Mhm.
just like bam bam or let me just make some shit pop off on TikTok real
Yeah.
quick. Like no disrespect to them type of people, but like you could tell he put in the time and the thought into his shit.
Mhm. And
So
that's the separation between like artists and the people who are just like searching for money, because it's
in
like
it for like yeah, in it for a second. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I and like you say back to like the capitalism point, I do feel like certain artists get kind of thrown into the industry, and you
Mhm.
have to kind of play by the rules. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
a lot of people look at it like, oh, you got all these, black people promoting violence and promoting, all these drugs and da 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 da. But you also got to look at these A&Rs and these like, the
Yeah.
people at the top of these record labels that want
Yeah.
us to talk about that type of shit, who
Yeah.
gon' blackball you if you don't talk about that type of shit. If you talk about why you shouldn't enter a 360 deal or why you shouldn't
Yeah.
be making this type of music because it
Yeah.
promotes this, that, and the third. It's like you make that shit, and unless you like a J. Cole or Kendrick where you solidified yourself, you
Uh-huh.
9 times out of 10 gonna get pushed out because they not
Mhm.
looking for that. Like they trying to create. They
They experimenting too. You just
yeah,
part of the experiment.
yeah,
But that's
exactly.
also why I really like really respect niggas like La Russell and Coda the Friend, niggas out
Yeah.
here doing that shit on their own and calling that shit out for what it is,
Hmm.
and trying to teach other niggas how to do that if that's what they choose.
Yeah.
Like you could tell these niggas put in the work and they actually care about the art that they're putting out. Like they
Yep.
not just out here trying to get a check.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And I think, and to go back, to backtrack to like somebody like Kanye, I think a lot of people are surprised by the way Kanye is moving, but honestly, I'm not, because it's like a lot of people like to allude back to like college dropout and all that shit. But if you really pay attention to what he was saying, none of it was like pro black. None of it was
mhm.
like super. It was just, I think it was his own like, I don't know how to explain it, but I want to say in a sense he was kind of predicting his own future.
Yeah.
Um, and he made it very clear that like what his position on stuff was, or like where he was aiming for. Like I've seen old videos of him back from like when he was first like popping, when he
Yeah.
was like, I'm Mr. Louis Vuitton and I'm
Yeah,
da da da
yeah,
da. Da. So it's
yeah.
like he's always been materialistic. He's always been like the that dude. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just he got masked behind the aesthetic, like
Bro.
the polo and backpack and the,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
he's different, he's quirky, so let's follow him. But I think ultimately, like like I said, he knew where he was gonna end up before everything even popped for him. Like
yeah.
just the way he talked, you could tell like he knew he was gonna be, I ain't gonna say a sellout, but like
But that shit is crazy considering what we just said. We talking about niggas experimenting. This nigga was experimenting,
mhm,
but it was in his favor. He
mhm,
got all the niggas on his side with how
mhm,
he was experimenting. And
mhm,
then once he got through that, he was able to go through some shit, really see some shit in the industry.
yep,
Then, this shit started really coming out. And like,
mhm,
I just feel so embarrassed because after that whole, it's just so weird looking at everything in hindsight because that whole documentary that came out on Netflix really had me on Kanye's side. Bruh, I was
mhm,
I was so like skeptical of Kanye ever since Yeezus. I was just like, what is this nigga on right now? Like, I
mhm,
really don't get it. Like, a lot of people were still buying into the shit heavily, but I'm just like, I was really turned off for some reason. And then, like a couple of friends I've been talking to over the years still went really hard for him. He's for the niggas, he's pro
mhm,
black, he's for the culture. And then that documentary came out, and I was like, you know what? Like, I have empathy for the nigga, and I feel like
mhm,
I can understand maybe, or maybe begin to try to understand a little bit more where he's coming from. But at this point, like it's just that now seeing everything that's happening now, it's very convenient when that shit came out. Also,
yeah,
it's just I don't know, bro. I don't know. This shit is it's mad disappointing, and it's so like I don't want to say confusing because the shit is right there in your face. It's just like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You ain't think it'd be him. Like you didn't think.
All right.
Not even that. It's like you don't think that.
But so loudly.
Yeah, you don't think that people will like go that way. But I think the thing with Kanye is like his idea of himself is way bigger than
Yeah.
like who he actually is. So it's like even though he is like Kanye, you know what I'm saying? We all know who Kanye is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that because of celebrityism, it's boosted his ego to a place where he don't feel like he could be touched. Like it's kind
Yeah.
of some like you can't tell me shit because you don't have this much money, or you can't tell me shit because you haven't made this song, or you haven't created this, and I'm a
Yeah.
genius, and da 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 da. And it's like I think we've not we as in us, but as a whole, like this society has put these certain celebrities on pedestals where they feel like they can do no wrong, like the Nicki Minaj's or the Kanye's or
Mm-hmm.
people boozy. Um, Certain people who just say and do things and don't think there's any type of like backlash. The baby, like, said all this
Oh
shit,
my
did all this,
god, bro.
killed his own career, and then everybody's still like, oh, they blackballed him. They blackballed. Like, no, like he dug his own grave, and nobody wants to admit that because it's like, oh, well, he's this type of rapper and he's supposed to be da 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 da. But I think a lot of times we excuse the dumb shit because of the money, because of the fame, because of all that. Because if he a regular ass person saying the shit that he's saying, nobody going for that shit. But because
Yeah.
he's famous and you got enough people on your side just because of the music, it's like people gonna fuck with you. And I even think in the sense of like something more serious, it's like R. Kelly. It's like this man real live, like, and I ain't gonna say he admitted to it, but I mean it's so much proof that
Yeah.
he was with that shit. And there's so many people that was around him, like the documentary and shit, all these niggas who was like around him
Yeah.
24/7, by him all the time, talking about, yeah, he was in the little girls, and all y'all niggas knew that shit. But because
Bro.
of celebrityism, because you can't tell nobody that they wrong, niggas just let that shit fly. And even now you got people
I was about to say.
who will defend R. Kelly like to the tooth and nail because he
Literally.
talented. But it's
Literally.
like what about the victims? Like fuck them, fuck whoever had to deal with all this shit. Fuck Aaliyah, fuck all that. Let's just talk. Let's make R. Kelly the focal point because he can sing, and it's
That's just
like,
crazy, bro.
and it's just like over and over. And I don't see any other, like, to be honest, I don't see a lot of other like I don't see other races doing that the same way we do that. Like if a white person is canceled, like they getting anything out the paint. Like they not fucking with that shit at all. Like you still
Yeah.
gonna have your apologists and like the certain people that's just like, all right. But for the most part, from what I've seen, if white people like we not fucking with you, like they not fucking with you. Black
Yeah.
people, we 5 seconds like, oh, Gucci did some racist shit. All right, I'm a boycott them for today, and then tomorrow
Yeah.
you back buying Gucci. And it's
Yeah.
just like, where's our loyalty at? Like we don't have any loyalty to ourselves, but
Into each other.
to ourselves or to each other, but we'll
Yeah.
jump on anybody else's bandwagon to fight for them at any time. And
Yeah.
it's just like, so why are we not fighting for ourselves? Like, why are we not going harder? If we really feel like the music is so destructive and so this, that, and the third, then why aren't we fighting for like record labels to push better shit? Why aren't we like requesting better shit? Like, why do we not expect better things from our music if that's the case? If so many people are gonna blame like rappers for promoting this and women for promoting pussy and da 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 da. It's like, okay, so what are y'all like? What are we doing to like get away from that, or are we just feeding back into it and then being like, oh well, it's not me, it's not me saying it, or it's not me killing people, so it's all good. Like it just feels like a lot of people have a very like individualistic kind of mindset.
Bro, and you know that shit is left over from slavery.
Yeah.
Like we still have there's so much we have yet to touch, to recognize, to deal with from way back when, from generations ago, stuff that we didn't directly experience, but we're still feeling the effects of it. And niggas
Hmm.
don't even know. Like that it's I can see like a clear line
Yeah.
how that shit could lead to where we are now and how most of us think.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Even in the sense of like I look cause like now I see that shit in everything. So even with I was on Twitter earlier and I saw somebody was like they done like did all this shit. Ice Spice.
Yeah.
they were saying how like everybody just be like coming at her like sideways and just calling her all types of whores and all types of like it'd be just all types of disrespect. And I be saying that shit. And the person was just like, what did she do though? Like, what did she genuinely do to y'all for y'all to like hate her this much? And I
She
honestly think
got famous quick and she light skinned.
she light skinned and she thick, and that's it. It's like because she didn't. I think because a lot of people just automatically hate light skins because of the whole colorism thing. I think
Yeah.
because it's like, but I don't think that's her fault. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like I
not,
think
yeah.
that's the like I said, that's the culture. Like that's the rap culture is led by, even though black people, which is crazy as fuck to say, but even though black people are responsible for hip hop culture, white people run that shit. Because
Yeah,
if you
that shit
look at all
wild.
the top artists,
Yeah.
look at who listen to them the most. It's not us.
Bro, cause we keep giving our money to them. And
Hmm.
then they keep put like it's just ugh. But about the whole Ice Spice, I've unfortunately have only seen like support for her on my timeline. I'll admit myself when she first came out, I was like, who is this bitch? But I don't have anything against her for real. I really
Hmm.
don't. I really
Hmm.
don't. I be
And I,
saying, bruh, I be quoting, you thought I was feeling you all the fucking time, like she did her thing with that little bop. And
and
it,
I be saying support too. I think a lot of times it'd be like I see a lot of stuff like under her post, or like not under her post, but like if somebody posts like a video of her or something, I see a lot of people being like, "Why is she famous? Like why she da 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 da? Why she da da
niggas
da?"
be hating, bruh.
It's
Niggas
like
be
niggas be hating.
hating.
I think that's another piece of it too. It's like either you adored by everybody or niggas is gonna blindly hate on you because
Bro,
like 'cause
but
everybody.
I have this meme it literally says jump in the light skin. It's a light skin in the corner and three little niggas around it.
That's all it is though. It's like they just hate her because she light skinned, and it's not even like she promotes her light skin. Like I can see
Nah, she just be existing, bro.
right. And it was different with Lotto's case because Lotto, like that name is
Her
crazy.
whole name is
Her
based off
name is
that.
crazy, right? So it's like you gotta acknowledge that shit. So it's like
I'm really annoyed how that was like a topic for a hot second, and then niggas was like, "Oh, Big Lotto, be
yeah, that
back."
was
Like,
Lotto. So
y'all
it's just like
annoying this shit.
but it's crazy, but it's only because she's attractive and she's a
I
light
know
like
that pretty privilege, bro.
it's because she's light skinned, she's pretty. Like if she was just some girl, like if she wasn't attractive, they would not let her slide with that shit, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's not at all. But it's because it's like you get the same aesthetic from all these
But
women.
bro, that has to be the same case with Nicki Minaj because I don't understand how she still has such a large fan base. Okay, like mental illness, not the good kind,
Yeah,
like the shit that like no, you need something a little more than extra special. But on top of that, I think it's like the pretty privilege. She thick, she light
mm-hmm,
skin,
mm-hmm.
and
Like
like
big butt, all
and
that.
she like puts on this character that people soak the fuck up. And I'm just, bro, I was so disgusted with her most recent shit. Even though I'm not a huge fan of Mulatto, Big Lotto, whatever, but like that shit was mad whack, bro. That shit was crazy,
She was
dog.
ready for that shit.
On top of that, bruh, when somebody called out her trigger warning, her rapist husband,
Mm-hmm.
who has been that shit has been, bruh, that shit is out there. Everybody knows about that. That shit is not a secret at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's even been proven, or he was like, I don't know. I don't know what the like legal outcome of it was.
They said like he was young when it happened, but I'm still like, but he
He
still
was.
did.
It was years ago, but was he like guilty or
I'm
something?
pretty
Or
sure.
was it even a case? I don't even know if it was a case. I just know that the woman, she went out on like Oprah or one of them talk shows to talk about it, and that's where I
Mm-hmm.
saw her interview.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it was like a case and there was like a legal whatever. But somebody mentioned that in her little riff with Mulatto, and she literally like made a joke about that shit.
I
Like
seen
was
that shit.
like,
Was
huh?
like was yeah, I seen that shit. She was just like, you
I'm
wasn't
like,
ready
bro,
for that. You was trying to get
you
along.
are doing too fucking much now, and that shit is not cute. And to see niggas still going hooting and hollering and going all for her in the
Right,
bro, y'all really blowing me with this shit.
right,
Y'all really blowing me.
right. But that's because people don't have their own
And
idea.
her brother, bro, not just her husband, but
Yeah,
I
bro.
know you can't be held accountable for like whatever, but I'm pretty sure she defended that nigga. So it's like, bro, that shit
And
is
they say she paid his bail or something.
yes, bro. That shit is big wild, bro. That shit is
Nah,
big wild.
yeah. But it's like we going, but you know, people still going to defend it because, like I said, like if it's just some regular person and you talking about the same thing, it's like, nah, you gross. You know what I'm saying? But it's because it's Nicki and she's done made all these songs and did all this shit. It's like that shit get overlooked, and that shit is crazy. How like just because you talented, you able to get away with so much shit, and people don't call you out on nothing because everybody want to be your yes man. Everybody
Yeah.
want a piece of your shit. Like that shit is just it just, but it all trickles back down to capitalism.
But bro, at this big age, come on now.
Yeah,
That shit is embarrassing for niggas as a whole. For
yeah,
women, what are you doing?
yeah, definitely.
Cut
And I
that shit
and I
out.
don't but at the same time though, I don't fully like what she said was like it was wild, but at the same time, she wasn't lying because you wasn't worried about the husband when you was trying to get a
For
song out there.
sure, for sure,
You
for
wasn't
sure. But
worried about
yes, absolutely. But I'm specifically talking about when she said something like these rape allegations, but did I rape anybody?
yeah, I saw that too.
That shit is so wild, bro. If you just kept it at the other shit, I, but nigga.
Yeah. I mean, but you also gotta look at like a lot of people are not, even though we all get older, it's like that doesn't necessarily mean we all mature. You know
Oh,
what I'm
for
saying?
sure. But
So like
clearly,
even
yeah.
though, and you can see it just in how people move, and you also gotta consider these artists or people or whatever got famous like at a young age. Like I
They are
think,
literally people, like we said earlier.
yeah, it's like you gotta think like Kanye really started blowing up when he was in his like 20s. You know what I'm
Early
saying?
20s,
So it's like
yeah.
to have that type of fucking recognition in your 20s. Like I couldn't imagine being 24, 25 and like having the whole world know who I am and like having access to so much shit and all these famous people around me. Like same with Nicki. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's you come into the game 20, 21, 22 and you dealing with Lil Wayne, who is like the biggest artist at the time, it's like of course you gonna have access to shit. Of course people gonna fuck with you. Like of course people gonna be your yes man. Like it
Hmm.
just come with, I think that just comes with the territory of like coming into, you see it with all these artists, Chris Brown. Um
Like coming of age in like such
yeah,
a huge spotlight. Yeah.
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 And
And
I
there's
feel like
really no room for growing pains and everything is just like,
amplified.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Everything you do is like times 20 now because like the mistakes that we made wouldn't be like, you know what I'm saying, wouldn't just be like whatever because it's like everything you do is under a microscope,
But
under a
then you
microscope
also
now.
have that like power dynamic at your play now,
Yeah,
even if you're young, like
yeah,
you are rich and everybody knows you and everybody loves you and you're gonna have people in your corner no matter what, ready to
exactly.
like fend for you no matter what, which is why I think that for rich it's more dangerous to be I don't know if dangerous is the right word I want to use, but it's more, we'll go with it for now. We could debate it out if necessary, but it's more dangerous for like to be a rich black man than it is to be a rich white man. Not for the men themselves, but for other people.
Yeah,
Because black men already don't have access to that kind of power. So the fact that you're able to get it just like that, and now you're suddenly up there, you're not really up there with the motherfuckers who's had
hmm,
power over you and still has power over you, which is why you're
hmm,
not up there. But there's an illusion, right? You're higher than most of us,
yeah,
allegedly. So now it's like you really taking advantage of that shit. And it just
hmm,
leaves so much space for oppressed groups like women, like disabled, all those types of people to get taken advantage of.
hmm. And that also to say like you say when you have like that access or whatever to things like, or when you're able to kind of like manipulate shit in your favor, you
Yeah.
also got to take into account like a lot of these people have or possibly had, mental illnesses and things that
Yeah.
went unchecked, because
Yeah.
they're out here, traveling and, doing all the things that they doing. So you don't get time to like have a therapist or like, dude, you're not even thinking about that because you
And
like,
then you
got
add
money.
substance abuse, right? You're not thinking
Yeah,
about
so
a
you just like,
therapist.
I got money, I got this, I got that. Like I'm doing good for myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're not even thinking about it in the sense of like I might have something going on with my mental, or like I might be really fucked up until
But I think niggas really be feeling it, and that's why
yeah,
they be drinking so
drinking
heavily
and
and
drugging
doing
and
all
doing
the
that
other
shit.
shit that they do so
NBA
heavily.
NBA young boy say that shit all the time. He be talking about how he gonna die soon, how he like take all these drugs to numb the shit. Like he know, just like all these other artists know, like they know like that there's a lot that comes with that lifestyle that they live, and it's not just as simple as like putting it on a microphone. It's like when you seeing your closest friends dying and all this other things, like it's not just something you can like glance over and be like, yeah, that's just life. It's like no,
Yeah,
like that's traumatic as fuck. And a
yeah,
lot of these dudes is not like handling that shit. They not like dealing with it. They just kind of like moving on, you know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then you got people praising you for it or saying like, yeah, he go hard. He don't care about nothing. He da 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 da. Like,
Bro, maybe Kanye is just suicidal, and that's why he's fucking himself up. Trigger warning again. And maybe that's why he's just fucking himself up
I
like
mean,
this.
it's possible. It's really possible because you never know what people going through like mentally. You
Because
know.
this nigga was distraught over Kim, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was specifically Kim or just not having his family together, but like this nigga was putting all his shit out there, like emotional as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And
you
I.
got, and then it's just been like a downward spiral ever since. Like this nigga got off Instagram, or he was put off or whatever, because he was going, he was heating up. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the nigga he was starting to get a little too crazy, so they took his shit off, and then he came back with a fucking vengeance, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And I know
I
a lot of
don't
people
know.
like to use like the bipolar thing, and it's like as a nigga with bipolar, that's not bipolar. That
Yeah.
is that's Kanye like being Kanye. But I will speak to the fact that bipolar can make you very impulsive, and if
Mhm.
he's not taking his medication the way he's supposed to,
Mhm.
it can happen like that. Like it will, things bottle up very quickly. And the
Mhm.
thing about bipolar is a lot of people think it's like 0 to 100, but it's really like 0 to 50, and then you kind of sitting at 50 for like a long time, and then something
Mhm.
happens and then you hit 100.
I see.
So like I'm pretty much assuming, like I don't know him obviously, but I'm assuming that whatever he like when he goes on his little rants or whatever and he does all that shit on social media, it's because things have been built up like over time. Like it's
Yeah,
not
for
like he
sure.
woke up one morning and was
For
like, I'm about to
sure.
start going on niggas. Like
For sure. Yeah.
it's been a while. Like he been thinking about all the shit with Kim and everything. Like and I'm sure like him being in the space that he's in, especially with kids now, it
Mhm.
definitely weighs on him like a lot more. And that's why I can still kind of like, I guess, like sympathize a little bit with him. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it's like you don't get to, I guess, like fuck your own people up
It's
because
just a sad situation overall, because like you don't want to see a nigga going through shit like this, especially so publicly, like
yeah,
especially somebody that everybody really like looked up to and respected, but like, bruh.
yeah.
Okay, so with the most recent events from him, because I was just looking at like what people were saying on Twitter. I didn't want to take the time to look at listen to the interview or like look at any of the clips or whatever. But did he say anything anti-black this time, or was it just the anti-Semitism and then that brought up the anti-black comments that he made previously about like slavery being a choice?
I hadn't seen the interviews. I heard him say the thing about George Floyd. Um,
Oh right,
that
yes.
was, I think that was,
Yes.
I think
And
that was,
that's what made the anti-black,
interesting.
the previous anti-black comments resurface. Yeah, okay.
I think,
I really hope Floyd's family sued him.
I think they say his daughter was supposed to.
Good, cuz the last thing I saw that was like trending was that they were considering it, but I didn't see
Yeah,
an update after that.
yeah. I mean, it's like, and I just don't really like relate to the topic, but it kind of does. I don't
Mhm.
like how George Floyd's name has been like kind of thrown around
Yeah.
so
And
much.
Breonna Taylor, yeah.
And it's just like people use that shit now as like in the scapegoat for everything. Like something happened with a white person. Oh, but what about George Floyd? Something happened with a black person. Oh, what about George Floyd? It's just like, bro, can y'all let that man rest? Like, we
Mhm.
gotta stop. Like, especially as black people, we gotta stop. Like bringing up certain shit, or just stop like using that shit as like a trump card, or like a some type of, not even a trump card, but just like it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like these
Keep
are
their
real people.
names alive, but
Yeah,
not in that way,
but not
bro.
like that. Not as like
Yeah.
to defend your own shit or to like as an example for some bullshit.
Mhm.
Like I just don't like how celebrities are just like, you know, just I don't know, they just be saying certain shit and it's just like whatever. But it's like
Mhm.
you know the platform you have. Like you know as Kanye West, like you say some shit, it's gonna go viral.
But that's also why I say once you get a certain amount of money, once you reach, and it's different amounts for different people, right? Because people start off at different levels. So once you reach a certain point, for some people, that's like, oh, we up. For other
Yeah,
people, like it's a couple levels up or whatever. But once you reach that level, whatever it is for you, you like there's something that changes, I think, in your brain, like in your psychology, the way you think, that just makes you so much more selfish and so much more apathetic, I guess is what you said. Like
yeah,
you lose some of your empathy for others. Like
yeah,
I can't explain it that like scientifically. I really think that it's something, I don't know. I don't There needs to be a study done if it's not already, because I'm it's just so obvious to
yeah.
me.
I think as you gain more money, you kind of have to numb yourself because it's like
Yeah.
once you get to a certain point of money, you're manipulating somebody or something to
Yeah.
get more because it's
Yeah.
like it's unnatural to stockpile anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Even if it was like water or like oil or some shit, like the hoarding and like stockpiling of resources is just it's
Mhm.
a capitalistic mindset. It's like
Mhm.
I want to have the most money not because I can actually spend it or not because I can help people, but just because I want the most money. And I think
Bro, one of in Smino's new album, one of the lines says something like, I want I'm trying to get everything that I want so that I can give it away. And I'm like, bro, I can respect that so much. Like, I understand niggas want to experience luxury and all that, but don't be hoarding all that. What do you need to keep all that shit for?
right. And
Help other niggas, bruh.
and even in that, it's like I don't know, me as a person, and maybe this is just like, you know, how I am specifically, but
Hmm.
I just feel like I can't enjoy, like, fully enjoy my life knowing that everybody else is struggling or everybody else is fucked
Yes,
up. You know
bro.
what I'm
That
saying?
shit
Like,
is
that don't feel right.
wild.
That wouldn't feel right if I'm sitting in my mansion watching TV, seeing everybody else struggle
It's so
and,
wild.
and be, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit just don't sit right with me. So the fact that you can do that just
Yeah.
says like that just speaks to your lack of empathy. And I think
Yeah.
like I said, like the money definitely, like as you make a certain amount, it starts to like that power shift definitely like affects you. And I think it was a study done like years ago. It was like a test done where they like had college students like sit with somebody, and I guess the person would get electrocuted or something like that if you press the button. And it was about like when the person who was in control of the like
Yeah.
electrocution was in control, like they had this like power hungry kind of thing where
Yeah.
they would turn the shit up. Like it didn't, I don't think it actually shocked them, but it was like simulated or something like that. And when the person was in control of the electricity, like it turned them kind of like evil a little bit, like not evil,
Sinister.
like
Yes. It's
scared,
so weird.
and
It's
I
so
think that
weird.
that's just like a power thing. Like once you get a certain type of like power, you can't. It's as humans, I think it's hard for us to have a certain level of like power because we don't know how to like keep a to we don't know how to control our ego. I think
Yeah.
our egos are inflated, especially because of like the internet and social media. I think egos have been like super inflated over the past maybe like 20 years.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because everybody's persona is now like it used to be a thing where like all that mattered was like who you knew in person and who was around you type shit, right? So it's
Mhm.
like who you go to school with, like your family, friends, cool. Now you're at a point where you go on the internet and you interacting with people in fucking Istanbul and fucking China
Yeah.
and fucking Canada and fucking, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you post something and it gets to another part of the world, and now this part of the world knows who you are in some
Yeah.
sense. So
Yeah.
I think that in itself has created like a lot of people who are just regular ass people, but then you get a TikTok and you get a certain number of followers just because you're attractive or because you have a talent, and now people are like standing you and be like, oh, he's like this and da 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 da, and like he's my favorite person and I love him so much. But it's like you don't even know this person. You just
We've
know them off of
we
TikTok. You know
like
what I'm saying?
the general population has been groomed so well. I'm not
Mm.
sure by what. I mean, I think media plays a huge role, but I think there's other factors at play that maybe aren't so obvious. But I think we've been groomed into being so submissive and
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know, like they've just made it impossible for niggas to know who they are. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like, god damn, my nigga, that's some real mind control type shit, bruh.
Right.
And maybe it's just cause like the constant distractions that they're providing us, you know, like people
Yeah.
don't really have interest in taking the time to self-reflect and like learn about themselves and figure out what you love about you instead of looking for, you know, looking for that shit in other people.
Yeah. I mean, you got to look at like how they promote shit. It's like,
Bro, Kanye might have been a part of that fucking agenda without him knowing it, my nigga, because you going around talking about I am a god. What do you mean? I just told you. But like not in a way that I say that I'm a god or that you're a god or that we're all gods and goddesses. No, this nigga is on some real like hierarchy type shit.
yeah, like he think he above people.
And you had so many people looking up to this nigga at that point. So, and then you've had so many people come out after him, maybe, or even before him. Like Kanye wasn't the one that started this shit. This shit's been going on for forever. But I think you've had people come out even after him who maybe aren't that extreme, but like the narrative continues. You know, we're
Yeah.
still getting fed this shit daily,
Yeah.
daily. Niggas be mindlessly scrolling on TikTok for hours, my nigga, and yet you see what you're consuming, but like, what is that shit really doing to you, bruh?
Mm-hmm. No, like people don't really take that into account. I think a lot of people kind of think that they can like separate it, like
Yeah.
they can like make the difference. So it's like if I'm sitting here watching, I don't know, if I okay, so like as a man, right? If I sit here and I watch like porn, right,
Mm-hmm.
all day long, and it's like it's not just like soft shit, it's like rough, you know what I'm saying, type shit. If I
Yes.
watch that shit over and over and over and
Yes.
over and over and over,
Yes.
even if I try to be like, oh, you know, I don't da 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 da, I'm not like that. At some point, that shit is gonna like
That's
change.
what women are to you.
Yeah, like it's gonna change how you look at sex. It's gonna change how you look at women. It's gonna
Yeah.
change how you look at everything.
Yourself.
Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't because your psyche cannot separate like what's
Yes.
real and what's fake. All it is all
Yes.
it picks up is like stimulus or
Yes.
stimuli. So like
Yes.
if I'm stimulated by the same thing over and over and over, I can't
Yes.
control that I get stimulated by this and not that. So now you can't have like soft sex. Now the only sex you can have is rough sex because that's the only way you get stimulated because you're so used to that. And I think
Yes.
it's like that with everything else. It's like if I listen to a certain type of music 24/7 and now I try to listen to something else, it's not gonna hit the same because I'm so used to like the 808. I'm used to this. I'm used to that. So it's not gonna hit the same. And you have to like acclimate your brain to like that's why you have to unplug and like really step away from social media and all that shit because it can like even if you're not thinking about it, it'll
Mm-hmm.
definitely consume you like in a second. And it's like
Yep.
you'll start to create these ideas of yourself and of
Yes.
other people based on what you're seeing and
Yes.
what you're hearing, and then
Yes.
it slowly takes away from who you are as a person. You don't even realize it until you're in a situation where you can't even really converse with people because you don't
Yes.
know who you are. So it's like
Yes.
I can't talk to people unless I'm talking about something that I saw on Instagram or something I saw on Twitter or something I saw on TikTok. And it's like a lot of people don't even have a personality outside of whether it's like where they work or like and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like just the
I literally had to experience that like reconfiguration of your brain myself, like firsthand experience. Remember how I told you majority of my life I wanted to be white?
yeah.
My nigga, that was porn. That was like TV. That was
Yeah.
music. That was what I was attracted to. Like, and I could never figure out fucking why, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I could never figure that shit out until I really started learning about white supremacy and
Mm-hmm.
racism and slavery and like the history of all that shit. And that's when it
Mm-hmm.
just started unraveling. And I'm like, bro, that's why I'm so passionate about that shit now. I'm
Yeah.
still reconfiguring my brain, bro. I still catch myself doing shit that I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? We're not
Mm-hmm.
there no more. But like that shit was ingrained for so long. And
Yeah.
like we've come a long way.
Yeah.
Clearly. But like that was my life, majority of my life. So I know that I still have some shit that I have to, like unknot and like figure out and rewire and
Yeah.
stuff. And that shit it's just crazy to experience that shit firsthand.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And I think we all go through that in different ways. Because I think even with me, I think it was less about trying to be white, but it was definitely more about um being like, I don't know what the word is. I guess like I don't want to say alpha male, but kind of being like
Mm.
the ladies man type dude, or just like
Mhm.
the type of dude that every girl wanted, you know what I'm saying? Thinking
Mhm.
that there was a certain mold for that. So I had to be like the player. I had to be the woo woo woo. And I think that even in a sense, I think that also goes back to not just white supremacy in general, but I think the kind of like the what's the word? I guess not limit, but like how I guess every person is chasing the white man dream. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how much money you make
The
is
American dream.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like it's directly tied to how we view ourselves. Because it's like when you see black people get rich, they be like, "Oh, I want to be like this white person. I'm gonna be like
Yes.
Bill Gates. I'm gonna be like
Yes.
da 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 da."
Yes.
And it's like that's a lot of how we see people around us, even because me as a black man, if I'm not like constantly consuming like my own people and in a sense of like energy wise,
Mhm.
it's very easy for me to look at a black woman and be like, she's below me or she's not as good as a white woman because I'm like,
Ah.
you know what I'm saying? Because it's
Yeah.
like your trajectory to the white man
That
directly
shit
impacts how you
crazy,
view
bruh.
everybody around you.
That shit is crazy.
Yeah.
That shit is wild. Bruh, that psychology shit, man, that shit is a fucking trip.
That shit get deep, Mo. And
That
I
shit is a fucking trip.
and
Like
people
this
don't
shit is
realize.
happening inside of my own brain, and like I help SOS, bro. I didn't want any of that shit, but that's just what it was for so long, and I couldn't explain why, but I was just making the problem worse just with like my everyday life. That shit is
Hmm.
crazy.
Hmm.
That shit
And
crazy.
I think a lot of people, to go back to like the sheep mentality, I think a lot of people underestimate the powers that be. Like
Yes,
they read in the same psychology books we are. They have access
bro.
to the same, you know what I'm saying, shit that
It's
we have.
so
So
subtle but so powerful.
they know how to make shit click. They know how to be like, okay, we'll do this subliminally, and then you won't even pick up on it, but you'll like subconsciously start to feel certain ways about yourself. Like I
Yes.
used to notice even like when I was younger, when I would watch TV, at first like you never really noticed, but once people started to talk about it, I was like, damn, it is true. But like with commercials and shit where you would only see white people on commercials.
Yeah.
And what I realized, because I was watching a certain commercial. I remember it like it was yesterday, but this was like years ago. I was
Mhm.
watching this one commercial. It was like a clothing line or whatever. But all I remember was it was a bunch of white people, and then they flashed like one scene where it was like one black girl and a bunch of white people around her, but she was like dark skinned, you know what I'm saying? So it was
Mhm.
like one dark skinned girl, and there was a bunch of white people around her, and they was talking. She wasn't the focal point, nothing, right? Then it
Right.
flashes to the next screen, and it's like an Asian person or whatever, but
Mhm.
still the majority of the room was white, right? And I just
Right.
thought to myself, like, damn, so they flashed like one or two people. And then if you're not really paying attention, you just like
Yeah.
glancing about a commercial, you're like, oh yeah, they got diversity in there. Like they got
Right.
a person, they got
Right.
an Asian person. But if you really pay attention, you like they just threw
Yeah.
a couple token people in there to make it seem like it's some diversity. Even
Yeah.
with commercials now, you see they pushing interracial like relationships even more. Like every commercial I see, like Gap, Target, oh, it's always like a light skinned woman or a light skinned
Mhm.
dude and like some white
Mhm.
person. And
Yeah.
it's like, why are we, You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that a thing now? Like, why is? But I feel like it all fits together. Like somehow, some way, they're trying to push certain agendas, even the sex agenda, where I feel like sex is a lot more accessible now.
Yeah.
And then you add that to the Roe v. Wade shit, and it's like two and two. You know what I'm
Ooh,
saying? It's
yeah.
like there's everything. I don't. People like to think that nothing is that deep. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And everybody will be like, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's not that deep.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
it's like it really is that deep. Like it's as
Yeah.
deep as you want to take it. If you want to live on the surface, and I think a lot of people do
They
because
do. It's comfortable.
yeah, it's comfortable to live on the surface and just go with the flow and just do whatever everybody tell you to. Even because even now, I feel like I see kind of like even now I see like I don't know, a lot more people are what's the word? I guess like more content with just like not knowing stuff or just good.
No, bro, we've talked about the illusion of comfort is so nice. It's so nice. I sometimes wish that I could go back to that and
Yeah,
not be so like how I am now, but my nigga, I'm here and there's
yeah,
no going back, bruh.
yeah,
There's no going back. So
yeah. And
it
that's
is
the
what it
unfortunate
is.
thing. It's like when you know better, it's like you have to do better and
Yeah.
you can't decide to go back to being ignorant, whereas like if you stay ignorant you can just stay ignorant. And I think
Mhm.
a lot of people just choose to not take it there because it's like once you know better you got to look at everything differently. And I even see with a lot of celebrities, or not a lot of celebrities but certain ones, where they'll say like they're free thinkers, um and then the media will kind of try to make them look like crazy or try to make them
Oh,
look
for
like
sure. For
they saying
sure.
some wild ass shit because they don't want you to think freely. Like
For sure.
they like especially during like the pandemic when there was so much like misinformation going out.
For
Whoever
sure.
considered themselves a free thinker or whatever, it's like, oh, he's woke. He's this. He's fake woke. He's da 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 da. Like they're all just crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like that agenda is literally promoted in order for you to not think freely. Like they want you to just follow the status quo and just believe whatever you hear.
That whole vax versus anti-vax shit was so fucking irritating, bro.
Stupid.
It's so
Stupid.
irritating. And the
Stupid
fact
as
that
fuck.
that shit still be going on and niggas be like, they've made that part of their personality at
Yeah,
this
like
point.
I'm
Like,
vaccinated. I did it. It's
that
like
shit is so
you took a
irritating,
shot.
man.
You took a shot. That is
Or
not
even if you
normal.
are anti-vax, because I'm not taking a side,
Right,
but
you
like
did that too.
y'all are so dumb. Y'all sound like the Democrats versus Republic shit. Like the Republican shit. Shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel like you need to be vaccinated, go be vaccinated and shut up. Go get your close people vaccinated if you that concerned about it. If you don't feel like you don't need to be vaccinated, then don't and leave it alone.
Yeah, yeah,
The fuck? That's all that like bruh. People just love putting on a fucking show and
mm-hmm.
like trying to portray themselves as like the most high being, whatever that is to the majority of the public. Like it's
Yeah.
just come on, bruh. Just cut the shit. Just
I
do
don't even think I don't. But I honestly though, I don't even think it's that necessarily. I think it's people are looking for. I genuinely think. I think people are just lonely. Like I think I saw a fucking thing. I don't know what it was, like a study or something or whatever, but it
Mhm.
was like it was a TED talk, and the
Nice.
lady was saying how even though we have the most access to like communication as far as like social media, everything, like
Ooh,
humans are at their most lonely, like right now.
bro. I want to go back to writing letters, bro.
It's
I
just
want to
like
I want to go back to like pen pals and shit.
even with that, it's like I don't think that fixes it. I think it's a mentality thing because it's
There's
like
like an oversaturation of access to each other and people. Like social media is cool kind of for that same reason, because we get to expose shit like that on such a grand scale so quickly, but also like we've been spoiled essentially, I think.
you know,
And people just they don't know how to form those real connections, or they just don't care to take the time to do that because you have the internet. You can all
but I would say like in our society, is it even like promoted? Like, is it even I ain't gonna say it's not beneficial because it is, but I'm saying like I think we've been kind of like brainwashed to be individualistic. Like,
For
even
sure.
though we
That's
need,
capitalism.
yeah, I mean, because even
Yeah.
though as humans, like we need social interaction, and I think that kind of ties into why people choose religions and why people choose these type of labels is because like you're lonely, so you want to find any way to like connect with somebody else that might be outside of just you being yourself. Because a lot of people don't know how to be themselves. So like, if I can cling to, oh, I got vaccinated, or I'm a Christian, or I'm this, I'm black, I'm da 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 da, then we
Hmm.
might not have to have the same likes or the same dislikes or really like hang out or anything, but you
Hmm.
recognize that I'm on your side because of we share something. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm a woman and you a woman, even though we might not get along and I might not like you, you might not like me because we have different, like, we just move different,
Hmm.
as women, we could connect on that point. So I feel
Hmm.
like that's where a lot of people are aiming at. And that's why a lot of things stay surface level, even just with like romantic relationships. A lot
True.
of times it's not about like who you're compatible with or who's going to help you grow. It's about
Right.
who makes me happy in this moment. Because the
Yeah.
moment where they don't make you happy no more, you ready to go to the next person. So
Yeah.
it's just like you said, like because of social media, I think we have so much access. Like you can go on Tinder and just swipe, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
find you a new girlfriend. But
Yeah.
I think that all of that just goes back to like capitalism and the idea of like you can always just get more or get this or have this, and you have this but you need better. Like your girl look like this but you can have that girl, or your car look like this but you can have that car, or you can
Hmm.
have the car that this celebrity has, or you can have the car that you know Kanye drives or that this person drives. And it's not about like being content with your with who you have or where you're at or nothing. It's just about I have to have more. Like
Right.
people will be like, oh, you only got 8 likes on your picture, but it's 8 people liking your stuff is cool, bro, because you could get
No.
zero. You know what I'm saying? But
No.
because we're so used to like seeing every tweet go viral and everything,
Right.
it's like
Right.
we
Right.
look at it like, oh, I'm not popular enough or I'm not good enough because I don't have the likes that they have or I don't have the follows they have or whatever. And we no longer like cherish like genuine connections. Like even like as an artist, if I put out some music and 5 people came to me and was like, yo, that was a great ass song, that
Yeah.
would make my day. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
if I'm on Instagram and I put out a song or something and I put out like a clip and it only get 5 likes, then it's like I failed as an
Yeah.
artist. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And I think that those type of like milestones that we set and just saying like I have this and I have a group of friends and I have, you know, blah 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 blah. It's like it makes people feel less lonely. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And I think ultimately that's where everybody's at. It's like I said, even though we have so much access to one another,
Hmm.
there's no actual like want to actually like connect. It's like everything is so accessible that it's become kind of like whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. I honestly like wish that every celebrity would take a page out of Beyonce's book and just shut the fuck up. Like stop talking so much, stop doing so many fucking interviews, stop talking on social media, just put out your art and go.
And leave, right? Right.
Bruh.
But I think that's because a lot of people are not. I saw, Well, I've seen a few things like it similar, but I saw some Instagram video where the dude was talking about like artists, and he was like, "You're not a person, you're a brand." And I just was like, that
Yeah.
just rubbed me the wrong way because I'm like, no, you're a person. Like
Yes.
I think everything has become like algorithms and all types
Yeah.
of shit, but it's
For
like
sure.
what happened to just like putting out music because you want to?
But
Like
see,
what
that's
happened
for
to,
them niggas that's just trying to get to fame real quick, get to the
yeah,
bag real quick.
yeah,
Niggas like La Russell, you just be putting it coder the friend. You just put in the work, my nigga. Obviously, the brand is gonna build itself.
yeah,
Like you're putting in the work for that shit, but like you are you and you recognize that and niggas fuck with you and respect you for that. And
right,
that's your brand.
right,
That shit will be that'll have much more longevity than anything else, than any
right.
other fabricated shit that you put out
Because
there.
you don't gotta fake it,
Yep. Yep.
and that's all it
Yep.
comes down to. It's like when you're genuine, it might take a little longer because people are I think people are afraid to see like dysfunction. Because it's like when you look at a celebrity's life, you're supposed to assume that everything is perfect and they just the
Mhm.
perfect couple and the perfect this and that. But I
Yep.
think when people can come out And I see it all the time. Like when people go on TikTok or like Instagram or whatever, and they vent about their life and like all these things, and they like crying and shit. And then you have people like, I could never do this. I would never, because I'm in da 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 da. And I don't see how they not embarrassed. But to me, it's like I don't look at it like that. I look at it like you say some shit, and you never know how many people might, like relate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you say some real shit that
Yeah.
you don't think anybody else goes through, and then you find so many people that actually go through the same shit you do, and that's how you create your tribe. Like I think people are so afraid, and I think it goes back to what I said about egos. Like people are so afraid of their ego being like
They
a
don't want to
little
be
bit
vulnerable.
bruised. Yeah, it's like nobody wants to be vulnerable, but
But that's
everybody wants vulnerability.
but I really fuck with how you've been like utilizing Instagram lately, besides just like promoting your work. You've been putting out like videos of yourself talking like with these realizations that you had, or like,
Mm-hmm.
I really fuck with that shit, because
Yeah,
niggas don't be doing that. Niggas
yeah,
really don't. Niggas be getting on there to post selfies all the
mm-hmm.
fucking time, or to post dumbass photo dumps to
Yeah,
try and like appease
yeah,
an aesthetic that they're trying to. I don't know. It's just all so like not authentic, and like I want to see you. I want
yeah.
to see you. So like I really fuck with that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I feel like, and I've even had people come to me like, I don't see how you do that. Da, da, da. Like, I don't know. I just get so nervous. And I guess for me, cause even like, cause I used to be really anxious. Like when I was younger, I used to have bad like anxiety.
Yeah.
But I think the switch that kind of flipped for me was realizing that everybody is fucked up. Like
Yeah.
honestly, like just realizing that everybody's fucked up. So no matter how much you might think like, yeah, my story is this, and nobody ever gonna be able to relate to me, and nobody ever gonna be able to feel me like how I feel. It's like you don't know how many people going through the exact same shit you going through, and feel like they alone too. And then like I said,
Yeah.
it goes back to that loneliness. And the reason why so many people feel lonely is because nobody, like you said, nobody wants to be vulnerable. Like everybody wants to have these guards up and these shields up and just be like, that's just how I am because I've been hurt before,
Mm-hmm.
without realizing like that's trauma. Even like in the sense of like relationships and shit. Like with my ex, it would be a lot of things that would happen where I was like, that seems like trauma, and she just kind of be like, no, that's not it. It's da 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 da.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like if we have an argument, and every time we have an argument, you bring up your dad.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
trauma.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
a lot of people don't look at it like that. They just look at it like it's unrelated, or that's just a
Well,
coincidence, or
that's it is what it is type
yeah,
shit.
or it
Yeah.
just is what it is. And it's like we don't take the time to really like take care of ourselves, like in the sense of really like finding the root of why we do the things that we do. It's not just as simple as I just do it just because. It's like there's a reason why you look at this celebrity the way you look at them. It's a reason why you don't hold them accountable the way you do everybody else, whether it be the money or the looks or whatever. There's something in you that feels like this person, because of who they are, what they do, can't be responsible for the things that they do. And it's just and I don't think that starts at celebrities. I think that just goes down to people, whoever you admire. When you have low self, like a bad self image or just low self esteem, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's very easy to idolize not even just celebrities, but just like
For sure.
people around.
Anything.
Yeah,
Bro, vulnerability with like not just other people, but with yourself too is a superpower.
yeah,
Like I say that shit so often. Like I'm noticing that more and more as I get older. I feel like I used to be maybe not vulnerable, just like a lot more open when I was younger, but that was also a me that no longer exists. So now that I've like, cuz it wasn't me. Like now that I've been coming into like untangling things, detangling things, and like figuring out who I am, instead of like that facade that I had on for majority of my life.
yeah,
I realized that I'm constantly self-reflecting, so being vulnerable with myself isn't really an issue for me,
yeah,
but it's opening up to other people. Like I find it really hard to tell things about myself unless they're specifically asked of me.
yeah,
Like I just feel like people aren't they're either not interested enough, or like I shouldn't really trust them with that type of information because you haven't
hmm
really given me, like it's just
reason,
I'm
yeah,
very apprehensive with that type of shit unless you are inquiring and like trying to pull that shit out of me. I don't really be
hmm
talking about what be going on in my everyday life, but
yeah. I'm the
Um,
same way, and I think even that in itself is trauma. And
mhm,
I think it's based.
yeah,
It's not. It don't come from nowhere. Like it's based in other experiences where we opened up, and people
yeah,
showed us like it was what
yeah,
it was. But I think that that's why you have to look at every single person as like their own person, and not like generalize. And it's hard not to, because it's easier for our brains to just do that. But
yeah.
I think that the real solution is treating every single person like individually and like
But it's especially hard to do that when your brain has detached from what the actual issue is. Bro, I can't think of an instance where it was like, okay, yeah, that might be the reason why I am this way. It's just like I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like I don't feel like it's a safe enough space unless you are, like I said, pulling that shit out of me. And like it
right.
might be a trauma response. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm still
Yeah.
trying to work that shit out. That's why I don't fucking know, but like it's just very interesting. And I wish it wasn't like that because I feel like people will just be telling me shit and I'm like, damn, like then I feel like I'm constantly put in the role of like being like somebody's therapist, or like
Hmm.
helping them through their shit. But I like it's part on me for taking on so much shit, without filling up my own cup, but it's also on me because I don't reciprocate. I don't they open up to me and then I don't open up to them. Like
Yeah.
so I don't yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
But
But I guess like I wouldn't feel like you are obligated to like open up to somebody just because they
for
open up to you.
sure.
Because it's
Yeah.
like different people have different levels of comfort. Like when I'm at work, I work in a dispensary for the people who
Mhm.
don't know. But so when I get certain patients and they come in and start telling me their life story, it's kind of like awkward because it's like I just met you, you telling me your story.
Yeah, bro, like what?
Yeah, and it's just like, but I saw this TikTok where the lady was talking about the difference between like, who was it? Like transparency and like something. It was like she was saying like you can be transparent without like giving somebody everything.
Okay,
So
yeah.
like
Without like dumping on
yeah,
somebody.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's the line that you kind of got to find is like how to tell people who you are without
Mhm.
being like, okay, because this happened to me in sixth grade and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And kind of giving people that whole backstory, but still allowing them to see like who you are. But it's a very like hard thing to find, and like you said, especially when you're also in a space where so many things around you also kind of like affect how you look at yourself and how you look at things, because it's not just as simple as like your own life experiences. Because one thing I learned was that some of my trauma actually came from watching other people go through stuff, or like
Mm.
seeing somebody else go through a situation and be like, damn, I can't have that happen to me. So
Yeah.
now that becomes like a defense mechanism where if I see something similar to their situation, I'm like, oh nah, because I saw such and such go through this with his girl or whatever, and da 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 da. So now I ain't
Mhm.
doing it with you. But it might
Mhm.
be a completely different situation, and this other person has no idea that I've seen the things that I've seen. So in
Right.
their head, they have no idea why I don't trust them. But
Right.
it's like I personally have seen something that might have like replicated what you given me, and now because I saw it in something else, like I don't want it in my own life. So I think sometimes like it's very easy to take on um just energies, like just take on like all the energy, and that's why your sense of self has to be so strong. And I think
Mhm.
that's where a lot of people fall short, is like a lot of people don't know themselves. And I think the key to knowing yourself is knowing that you don't know yourself, because it's like
Yeah.
every day you're just constantly going through things and changing things and fixing things and like rearranging things, and it's like to put yourself in this box to say like I have to be this every day, or I have to be
For
this every
sure. Yes.
day. It
I feel
definitely
like I
fucks you
feel
up.
like the main excuse me. I feel like the main way to, I guess, know yourself, for lack of a better phrase, is just to stay in tune with what you want,
Yeah.
what you don't want, and what you need and what you don't need. Like I
Yeah.
feel like as long as you're on, like, because you can recognize that's going to constantly change,
Mhm.
depending on where
Mhm.
you are. But as long as you are keeping up with that and you're not, you keep your boundaries, on all sides of things, then you'll be straight.
Yeah.
I think you'll be straight.
Yeah. But I think, like said, all ties back into capitalism.
Yeah,
I think not having a strong sense of self is probably the easiest way to manipulate people into,
for sure. You're more
grooming.
susceptible. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like if I know you don't have a strong sense of self, it's like I can just make this rapper wear this clothing and you gonna buy it because you want to fit in, or you want to be this, or you want to be that. So it's like that's why when it comes to like black celebrityism, that's why when it comes to like when people talk about generational wealth within like the black community,
Mm-hmm.
I always get a little bit like, because it's just like, what are we talking about when we say generational wealth?
Yep. If you're just talking about money, I don't want to be in that conversation.
Right, because if the idea is just to simulate what white people have, which a lot of people, a lot of
Yep.
black people are aiming towards, is to
Yep.
not to do better, not even like do better than white people, but like to have a better mindset.
They trying to catch up.
Yeah, basically, they playing catch up instead of us
Create your own game, motherfucker. You're
living for our
boring.
own purposes and our
You're
own like.
boring.
You know how much we would fuck up white America if we all just moved to like rural states and
I
just
fucking do, bro. And that shit pisses me off every time I think about it. We literally stand in our own way.
yeah, because we want to stay in the mix. Like we want to be where all the action is, where all the LAs and the Atlantas and the New Yorks and the because we
Okay,
want to
but
be.
hold up. Hold up. Hold up. I gotta go back to Kanye for a second. You taking this nigga out of your playlist?
I plead the fifth.
I'm crying.
Look, bro.
Oh my god, bro.
No, look, we not gonna act like we not gonna act like this nigga ain't make 808s a heartbreak. All
Bro,
right.
I'm crying, bro. I was just listening to Father Stretch My Hands the
I
other
know he
day, bro. And
always
I fuck with Kid Cudi heavy, but like that shit goes so hard, my nigga.
he
Bro,
is my beautiful dark twisted fantasy, man.
I'm crying.
He was, man. I can't switch up on that. Now, new shit. I'm skipping. I'm gonna skip.
Right, for sure. For
But
sure.
the shit that's already in the playlist is grandfathered in. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta take it for what it is.
I got it. You know, cause like honestly, I wasn't planning on deleting any of the shit I had in there. Like I understand he's been anti-black and all that, and that shit fucking sucks. But he's still a nigga, and
Right.
like on it, like whether you in a Benz or a coupe, that nigga said that shit himself. So like he gonna do
And
that shit is gonna come back to him. So I don't need to play into your downfall. You
yeah,
know, like I don't
and
need to do that.
I also feel like he's just as much as crazy as it sounds. He's just as much of a victim of slavery and everything else as we are.
Yeah.
Like even if he did, quote unquote, make it out. Like if anything,
Really, he didn't, babe.
yeah, exactly. He hasn't, and it
Yeah.
shows every single time where he gets dropped from some company or they drop endorsements or whatever. It shows very clearly, like even though he might have all this access or what looks like all this access to all this shit, they trying to take that shit away the moment where you step out of line. So it's like, do you really even have it? Because if he just played, and I think the Kim Kardashian thing plays into that because I think as long as he stays in that kind of
He's
family,
in it, bro. They got kids. He's in
yeah,
it. It's
and it's like,
done.
as long as you stay in that family dynamic, quote
You
unquote.
stealed your shit when you laid a baby in there, bruh.
Nah,
That's
but
what
but
that
I don't think that is even. I don't even think because I remember when he was ranting one time and he said something about I see all the people saying I'm the dude from Get Out, da 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 da. So he knows like what the fuck it is. You know what I'm
he
saying?
does for
Oh,
sure, and he sees it now.
so it's
He
like,
literally, bro. He literally called them niggas out on Instagram, calling all the sperm donors. He mentioned Travis.
mm-hmm,
Like this nigga knows.
mm-hmm,
He probably knew then, but he thought him being Kanye, him being the conceited nigga that he is,
mm-hmm,
thought he was above that shit. Look at you
mm-hmm,
now, bruh.
mm-hmm. And that's all it was even and that's why I said like Kanye has never really like changed his MO because he's always been the same dude.
Yeah.
Even when he was trying to get his shoes out and his stuff out, and he was like, when Sway was like, "Yeah, just put your own stuff out," and he was like, "No, I gotta go
Bro.
through this and I gotta go through." He's been chasing like the white man dream John,
And
like,
did you see that he acknowledged that
yeah, that
Sway
shit was right.
actually did have the answers?
Yep. But that's the thing though, because it's like Sway saw the vision before he did, and that's
Yes,
all it was.
bruh.
He knew he was capable of doing that
You
shit.
gotta listen, bro.
Kanye,
No matter what level you at, you don't know everything, my
mhm,
nigga. Even if you feel like you in the thick of it and you have more information than most people, than pretty much any other nigga, you are still seeing it from the inside. You are
yeah,
still seeing it in the middle of the fucking forest. We are on the outside with the
right,
fucking drone looking on top of you, like telling you, my nigga, listen, even if we don't know for sure, this is a possibility. So we're gonna need you to trade like you wanted to. Fuck no, you don't got the fucking answers. You want to go off on your niggas and keep doing your own shit. Okay, do
mhm,
you, bro? Do
right,
you? Do
right, just to
you?
end up back here.
Now you look like a dummy. You look like a big ass dummy,
Now you look like an asshole, and nobody fucking with you now because
big ass doo doo head, bro. Like,
you done cut off
yeah,
everybody that fuck with you in order to
yeah,
chase like this white man dream.
yeah.
And now you see like they ain't had no loyalty to you. And to be honest, the shit that he was saying wasn't necessarily wrong. I feel like
Who Sway?
no, Kanye.
What you
I
mean?
mean
'Cause he
like
said
not
a lot of shit.
I was about to say not okay. So before I say this, just play me right. Like don't get me wrong, right?
Okay.
But the shit about the Jewish people like running shit, that shit not a lie.
Okay.
Like
So what did he
it's
say?
very
What did he
obvious.
say? What did he say?
I don't know exactly. But from the gist of what somebody else told me, it
Okay.
was basically about like Jewish people in media, like kind of running the media.
That is
Kind of,
true, but I feel like niggas wouldn't be saying that's anti-Semitism. We all know that.
yeah. But it's also like I'm sure Kanye being Kanye, he didn't say it like that. You get what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like
Yeah.
even with the slavery is a choice thing, I got what he was saying. It was just the way
Yeah.
he said it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in what he was saying, he was right. I think a lot of people I will okay. Back then I can't speak for that, but I can speak on today. There are a lot of people who like a lot of black people who choose to be stuck. Like they
For
choose
sure.
literally to be like under white people's thumb.
For
And they
sure.
just always like I'm the victim, I'm
But
this, I can
then
never
you
be.
know what? I'm sorry to cut you, but that makes me question like who was that message for? Was that message for niggas? Because you know if you using trigger words like that, you're gonna do nothing but piss me off and then nobody's hearing you after
Yeah.
that. Who was that message for?
I don't think Kanye speaks like to speak to
For
people.
sure. Yeah.
I think he just says what he thinks and
Yeah.
then it's not
Yeah.
always like articulated the way people want him to. Like people
Mhm.
want I think a lot of people want like the over explain like super deep, like long, intricate answer. And I think
Mhm.
Kanye is very like
Mhm.
he's just gonna say
Mhm.
what he got what he's thinking and he's gonna go,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Take it how you want to take it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's necessarily like looking for like attention. I just think he doesn't care enough to like avoid it.
He not doing that shit for the people. He's doing that shit for himself at
Himself.
the end
Like
of the
he's
day.
just speaking his own mind and like people are taking it however they want to, but I ultimately think like he knows what he's trying to say. And sometimes for the most part I can kind of like level with him. But I
He's
just
just
think that
taking it too far.
sometimes, yeah, I think sometimes he get a little too like on his own.
Sometimes you just gotta shut the fuck up.
Hmm. Pretty much.
Cause we'll ride for you if you don't go so far. Even
Right.
if you say a little fucked up shit.
Right.
Look at the baby. Look at R. Kelly, bruh. Look at motherfucking Boosie. Boosie is the most wild nigga ever that's
Hmm.
famous, and niggas are gonna ride for him no matter what because
Yeah.
he's like, you know, he's good for a specific audience. But my nigga, once you go past a certain threshold, bruh, and that threshold is pretty fucking far.
Yeah. Cause I mean, even still now, I can't see Kanye being like canceled. So it's like it's not really gonna affect him that much, to be honest. I
I
mean, like
don't know, bro. He losing all these deals. That's money.
I don't think that's gonna matter
A
to him.
lot of the people that I've seen, a lot of the niggas on my social media, which I know is a very small percentage of his fan base, but like niggas not fucking with this nigga right now. And you know what? It might just be right now because that's like what's popping to not fuck with
I
Kanye.
gotta say, but you gotta also consider like he hasn't put out music in like months. So it's like once he
Yeah.
drop another album or something, everybody gonna be right back fucking with him. That's just how it works. Like, and that's not necessarily a good thing, but it's just like I feel like
he know niggas are dumb.
yeah, a lot of people gonna fake hate him right now.
And
They don't
looking
even
for
know.
idols.
I
Yeah.
feel like most people don't even care enough about Jewish people or know about Jewish people enough to be like, oh, I'm mad about him for saying da 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 da. It's just that, like I said, it's the same thing with Ice Spice. It's like because everybody hates it right now, it's just a thing to do. But the moment where Kanye say some prolific shit or he do some shit that's like out of this world, everybody gonna jump right back on the bandwagon. It's gonna be right back to where they was at. Like when you got people like you said, like R. Kelly, this man literally has videos of him with underage girls, and it's still people to this day that play his music.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't really feel like there's unless you like I can't even say unless you kill somebody because we look up to niggas that kill people. Like
Yep.
that was the
Yep.
baby's
That's
whole
not, bro.
like
The threshold is so far. Boosie literally like
kill somebody. He got a
no.
murder charge.
I'm not even no, bro. I'm not talking about Boosie hired a whole grown ass woman to
Yeah, to have sex with his son,
bro.
and then still listen to him, still gonna bump him. So it's like I don't think we really have like a threshold for what we'll like go for because it's just like you always gonna have somebody that's gonna be like, well, I still support it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like as long as we all have this individualistic mindset,
Kill your idols, bro.
I feel like we're all just gonna not all, but I feel like most people are just gonna chase a bag, chase an image, chase the celebrity, chase something. But it's like we're all out here looking for somewhere to fit or somewhere to feel like we belong to something, whether it be a fan base, whether it be like I wear this certain type of clothing so I fit in with these kids, or I do this so I fit in with these people. Like it's just like everybody, like I said, everybody's lonely, so everybody's looking for something to cling on to. And I think Kanye, Nicki, whoever the fuck it is just somebody else for people to cling on to until they figure out who they are themselves. And then it's like, why was I even why was I even celebrating this person like that? But that's a
Lord
process.
help us. Niggas in too deep, bro.
Too deep, way too deep, way too deep.
Seek more real life connections, my nigga. Niggas that'll tell you when to go outside and touch some grass.
Man,
Niggas that'll
seek
invite you
yourself.
to go outside
Yeah.
and touch grass with them. Like,
Seek yourself first, because I think
bruh.
that's where it starts. Because because I feel like even with positive shit, if you just let somebody guide you and without no type of real understanding.
Then you gonna get low vibrational food, lady.
Like shit, like shit. That's exactly what I'm about to say. Like you just gonna have somebody who's like, no, don't do that. Do it like this. Don't do this. Do it like that. But it's like that might not resonate with you. Like
Yeah.
certain messages that's just not gonna resonate with you. Certain shit that's just not gonna resonate. Even if it might be in your like for your good. If somebody came to me with some advice and it wasn't necessarily like in line with what I want to do, I'm gonna take it, but I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
still gonna do what you wanna
I'm gonna
do.
still do what I want, but I'm gonna hear what you saying. I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna take that into account. But not, but at the end of the day, I'm still gonna do what I want because my sense of self is way bigger than anybody's opinion of me. So it's
Yeah.
like once you get to that point, that's when you're able to kind of because like you got to be able to silence the noise, whether it's good noise or bad noise, because people gonna be telling you like you the shit, you that nigga, da 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 da, just the same way they gonna tell you ain't shit. So you got to be able to take both of those statements and kind of make it neutral so that you don't get too big on yourself or don't start to think like you know what I'm saying, like invincible or like you know what I'm saying, you can never be wrong or whatever. Like you need that balance of like knowing yourself well enough to know like okay, like no matter what people are saying about me, good or bad, it don't have no effect on me. Like it's that it's not indicative of who I am. It's just how they might see me.
Yeah. 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 Listen, go to therapy, get a
Right.
journal,
There you
read
go.
the Untethered Soul. Like, I don't fucking know, bro. Do some shrooms, whatever y'all niggas need to do to start self-reflecting, become more
Right.
self-aware, and stop
Right.
depending on outside things.
Yep. Yep. That's where we need to get to. Like that's ultimately like should be the goal for every human. Just
Mhm.
figuring yourself out first, and then everything else will just align. Like for real. I've noticed that so much, like in my own life. Like the more I come into my own self, the more I just realize like I'm just letting go of so many distractions and so much unnecessary shit. Cause it's just like I'm realizing that I kept a lot of shit around just because I thought it made me me.
Mhm.
Um, but
Mhm.
I'm realizing like I make me me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of times you cling to these titles and these labels and these different things, and you make that who you are. But like who you are is just who you are. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't have to prove anything to anybody to be what you say you are or who you think you are. It's just like you just live your truth, and people will see that in you and be like, oh, okay, I fuck with that.
Yep. You gotta stop fighting the natural current, you know, and then
Yeah,
like once you
yeah,
stop, so much shit will just flow
yeah,
abundantly for
a
you.
hundred percent, a hundred
Like
percent.
that's all I got for you, babe.
Yeah. Yep. You gotta figure it out yourself though. It's a self journey. It's a self thing. Like you gotta. It's between you and you. Like nobody can push you to where you need to be. No
Yeah.
celebrity is gonna like inspire you to like change your life for the better. Like you have to be the catalyst for your own shit and
Hmm.
like figure out what it is that's gonna get you to where you try and be.
Or niggas can inspire you. You can have that inspiration, but you're the one that has to take the action. You have to
Yeah,
act on that inspiration to make
yeah,
shit happen. You can't just be inspired,
and
be
then not move.
motivated, and then that's it. Nothing's
Yeah,
gonna come out of that. You
yeah.
gotta put
Just
in
gonna
the
be
work.
in the same space, motivated with nothing to do.
Right, bro. Wondering why you stuck. You gotta put
Right.
in work.
Definitely.
Put in the work.
Definitely. Mm.
Well,
I think that was a good ass talk.
I think so too, bro. I think so too. I don't got shit else to say. I done got all that shit off my chest.
I
I
feel
really
you.
didn't think we was gonna go this long on this joint, but shit. I
We
think
said,
everything we said needed to be said.
yeah, I was just about to say that. I feel like we said what needed to be said, so
Yeah.
it worked out.
Bet. Well, thank y'all for tuning in.
Another
Thank
episode.
you, my nigga, for the quality conversation, for the
Always, always.
connection. I appreciate you. Just
Mm-hmm.
like as a person, as my nigga, as a friend, a genuine friend. Like,
Same, same,
thank
same,
you.
same. Hundred
Thank
percent,
you.
hundred
Thank
percent.
you. Yeah. All right, yo. Until next episode, thank y'all so much. Peace
Deuces.
out.
Boop.